Hello, folks. Jim Voss, high above my garage, maybe 8 or 10 feet, with another edition of Just My Opinion. I think these look like Mickey Mouse. Let's take those off. Oh, Lord. I don't know. We're pushing 80 broadcasts now. 80 times going on the air. Like my Hawaiian shirt. I didn't put the Hawaiian backdrop up. Just got my South Carolina flag. Got another Trump flag today, but don't have time to do the studio and all the other stuff, including the research. Well, last podcast, I don't know if anybody listened to it or not. I researched all 12 and the alternate of Donald Trump's jury. 3 attorneys. That may not be bad. See, attorneys will have to recognize the rule of law. They'll have to look at case law. They'll have to look at probable cause. They'll have to look at mens rea, criminal intent, all those little nasty things that this court's definitely not looking at. 9 Democrats, like finding a virgin in the cat house. That's going to hurt. We got one person who listens to Trump's network, Truth First, Truth Social, whatever he calls it. That may be a winner. And one lady who said she didn't watch any news. Her hobbies are eating and hanging out with her friends. Sound like a winner to me. You never know. What is it? Life is like a box of chocolates. When you get a jury, you can think you got this golden jury, this jury that would set, Attila the Hun free. And then you got others that would put your ass away for 40 years for double parking. You just don't know what a jury is going to do or say. And I thought this was amazing. They had told Donald Trump that he probably could not attend Barron's graduation. But they took a half a day off on last Monday for a juror to go get her tooth filled because she had a toothache. Yeah. But a boy's graduation is one time, and what a slap in the face. It's like having diarrhea and then running into the bathroom and find out it's a quarter pay toilet and you got a dime. I'll make a few predictions because this is going to happen. I mean, you can bank on this. You can take that to the bank or this to the bank. This sham of a trial is just to put the stumbling block in front of Trump so that he cannot run. They're going to find him guilty of whatever, big, dumb, and stupid in public with intent to distribute, but they're going to make it guilty. It's going to be a guilty plea. Now, every legal eagle says this crap will not stand up on appeal. They will strike it down, and guess what? The appeal will not be heard until after the election. We have slid into the banana republic, into a third world nation, where we just come after the people we don't like, put their ass in jail. I remember one night in the middle of the Yemen desert, I was with General Bahir, Saudi general, 1 star. We caught a sapper in the middle of the ammunition depot that I was in charge of. And so they drug him up there, and General Bahir talked to him for just a minute, and then all of a sudden they whisked him off. Now, I was supposed to take this guy turn him over to my upward trace, and they were supposed to interrogate him. Bahir said, no, no, it's okay, we got him. So they throw him in the back of his command vehicle, and boom, they're gone. So the next day, I began to think a little bit. I mean, my command had not even heard that we had captured a sapper in the middle of our ordnance, which we had 5.5 miles of. And I said to General Bahir, where is our prisoner? He said, in prison. I said, prison. Doesn't that normally come after a trial? He said, oh, no, 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 we're not going to do it that way. He said, we just took him to prison last night, up close to KKMC, King Khalid Military City. And I said, what's going to happen to him? He said, oh, nothing, nothing. And I said, how do you go about this in this country? He said, well, we're going to keep him for a little while, going to talk to him, find out who his family is, find out if he's good people, and then keep him for a while. And I said, and what if you find out that he's not from good family, that he is a true sapper? He said, then we'll keep him for a long time. And we might repatriate him after the war, or if he's found guilty quick enough, we'll just shoot him. Take him out of the desert, shoot his ass. Life didn't mean much in the desert. As the camels and the goats moved towards the marketplace. See, what they do is they bring these big old 18 wheelers out and they throw seed out into the desert. And with 2 inches of rainfall per year, that's just enough to get those seeds to come up into little tiny sprigs of grass. So behind them, about a month later, is all the camels and the goats. And they nibble these little tiny pieces of grass until they're at the marketplace where they get to meet Animal Jesus early. Now, they don't stop to take care of any animal that falls to the side. So before we ever opened up Theater Storage Area TSA 3 up on Tapline Road, when we got there, one of my soldiers came back and he's leading a camel. And I said, oh, what you got there? Your girlfriend? And he said, no, they had hobbled, tied her legs together. They had hobbled this animal out in the middle of the desert. And we don't think there's anything wrong with her. So can we keep her as a mascot? Okay, fine me. Well, Elsie got to the point where everybody loved her and everybody fed her. She loved MREs, but you could unscrew a quart of water and she would put it in that mouth of hers and just turn that bad boy straight up and it's gone and spit it all at you. But she would stick her head into the flap of your door and, what are you doing? What you got me to eat? You could tell her, get out of here, else they don't have anything. She'd go to the next tent. So they don't care about animals. Animals don't have any kind of animal soul like we think they do. So this stray goat comes and flops down beside my tent. And so I tried to give the goat water, and he was trying to drink it, but he was dehydrated and he was dying. And I couldn't stand the misery index, so I just took my 9mm and I went out there and I shot him, put him out of his misery. Well, here comes General Bahir in his little Toyota Land Rover. Why you killed the goat? Because he was dying and he was suffering. Did the goat do anything to you? No, General Bahir, the goat did not do anything to me, but it was the humane thing to put him out of his misery. Maybe Allah would have healed the goat, and you stopped him from being healed. I said, no, I don't think so, General. He said, are you a vet? I said, no, I am not. I'm a veteran, but I am not a vet. He said, are you a veteran doctor? And I He said, then you don't know if the goat would have lived or not. So I had to apologize to General Bahir for shooting the goat. And when we left, Elsie was robust and full of energy, and so we gave Elsie to General Bahir. And I think he probably had him for steaks or something. I think that's the way America is getting to be. When Captain Ali was killed in the desert by a car accident, we went to see his family, and his father said, "You're born in the desert, you die in the desert. Doesn't make any difference." And I think that's the way we're looking at our lives right now in America. Born in America, die in America, nothing in between matters. I say this because I poured my heart and soul into a plea. It's time that we came together in one place to show this state of ours, this place of ours, that we, as the citizens of the United States, matter. Not Black Lives Matter, not White Lives Matter, not Brown Lives Matter. We all matter. And we are mad as hell because you're giving everything we have away. You're giving it away to the woke generation. You're giving it away to BLM. You're giving it away to Antifa. You're giving it away to those people who sit on their ass and scratch their scrotum and do nothing but live off of the government. And we don't give a shit. We don't care anymore. Not even the war hogs. And I still am. I'm still, man, when Donald Trump said, I'll bomb the shit out of them, I love them, man. That's indeed. You see, Russians and Chinese do not understand protocol. They do not understand having discussions. They understand power and might. We would never be having this trouble with Xi in China. We would never be having this trouble with Putin, Rudy Putin, in Russia. We would not have to be worrying about little rocket man in North Korea. We would not be having to worry about a damn thing because Trump would pick up that phone and he would say, you guys got to settle the hell down. If you don't, I'm just going to come bomb your neighborhood. Threat or not, we didn't have any wars when he was in. We didn't have any egg on our face. We didn't lose any colors. We didn't lose any servicemen. Not when Donald Trump was in charge, because he would tell you, you're going to settle your ass down. Xi, you're going to get your hand out of the nuclear arsenal of Russia. And Russia, you're going to leave Ukraine the hell alone. You're going to be magnanimous, and you're going to come up with a treaty that's hands off, laissez-faire, hands off of the Ukraine people. I know I take a bad stance on Ukraine. I know you don't like it, but I don't give a rat's ass because I'm retired and I just don't care. It's like we gotta hate the Ukrainians. We gotta hate the Jews now. We gotta go along to get along. Why? Have you taken the time to look at the problem between Russia and the Ukraine? Have you really taken the time to do the study? I had a picture of Zelensky laughing. Oh man, that's horrible. What's he doing laughing? Maybe someone told him he was kicking Russia's ass and the war wouldn't be long. Don't, don't say anything about missing money for the Ukraine until you look right here on both sides of the aisle. Felonious, like that's the cylinder word, felonious theft and embezzlement and misdirection of money. Because we say we give $50 billion to the Ukraine does not mean $50 billion gets there. No, all of us have our little hand in the till, and we're going to get our bribe money to grease them skids, you see, and maybe the Ukraine gets 40 billion by the time we spread the money around. What's wrong with helping the Ukraine? Let me back up. Let me back up. I'm gonna tell you what's wrong. You can't fight a war from behind a damn desk. We would have had Vietnam settled in 3 years. We would have been out of the war, but Congress got involved. One day you can fight back, another day you can't. We would get shot at, and we'd have to call MacV to find out if we could return fire, the 5 generals. You put up concertina wire, the sappers try and come through, you kill them, they're hanging in the wire, and I also, Mama San's out there with 3 kids. Oh, Papa San got drunk, crawled into the wire, you shot him and killed him, oh, you heathens. Oh, don't get me started on Hannah. No, no, not on Hannah Jane. No, 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 no. I was part of Mac's effort. We bombed them for 9 days straight. I mean, every aircraft we could have to get on that runway, loaded down with the Mark 82 high drags, with snake and bomb the shit out of them, you know. 9 days. 9 days relentlessly, day and night, day and night, day and night. They didn't have any food. They didn't have any medical supplies. They didn't have any water. They didn't have a damn thing until Madame Crotchrot decided to go and stand in the middle of the paddy and say, oh, they're bombing the rice paddies and the kids can't have any food. So what did they do? Stop Mac's effort. We had them by the short hairs and we're ready to come to the table. They're willing to capitulate. And because of this smelly we stopped. And in 5 days, they were fully supplied again and ready to go. And never looked back. All you vets that are listening to me that were there, you know this was a congressman's war. You know about hitting the same area over and over and over. You pilots, yeah, come on, Frederick, tell me about it. You know, hit the same area over and over and over, but don't hit the dams. Don't hit the bridges or going over the rivers. Don't hit the rice paddies. I remember my pilot was Colonel Clean. Looked just like Colonel Clean. Bald headed, big white mustache, big old son of a big pilot. He got accused of bombing a hospital. But you see, that red cross on top of the hospital was being used not for patients, but for ammunition. It took about 3 days for that place to cook off. So they finally didn't do anything to him anymore because he had made the right decision. It's not a peaceful water buffalo going along that trail behind the rice paddies because he's got a Soviet 122 missile strapped underneath his stomach. So if you blow him up and he blows up again, you just have to assume that he had gas, bad problem with gas. You cannot sanitize a war. You have a war, people are going to die. That's it. Veterans sign that blank check to Uncle Sam that says, I will fight at your command. I will die doing the best that I can, give my flag and my medals to my widow and my kids. We know that. Every veteran that served knows that. Last time I checked, it was the president who said, we're going to go to war. Not individual damn lousy, belly scraping, no good mofos that have their own agenda, that they want to run a war. So they start throwing up the roadblocks, just like they did for the Tuskegee Airmen. See, they would change the show time before you went to fly and then claim they were late. Give them details of where there were never any enemy aircraft and then say they were lazy. You cannot fight a war from behind the desk. It has to be in a planning room. You have to pick your target. You have to go get that target. You have to blow that damn target up. And with that, people are going to die on the ground. Not always intentional. You call it collateral damage if you want to, but people are going to die in a war. You can't sanitize that war. You can't make it. That's what people want. People want a war where no one dies. And I'll make them. We're getting there with the drones, but you know what? Those drones are going to drop bombs on people, and the only people that won't lose as many soldiers as us. Because there's some kid who used to love video games down in Miami, Florida, flying it from the command center down there, and he's flying it in Afghanistan. And we don't care. I'm gonna ask you one more time, where are the Hawks at, man? I want to talk to my vets right now, and I want you to answer me a question. All I said was, I want to have a rally. We'll have a covered dish. We'll have a band. We'll have something. We'll have some speechifying. Will you come? Out of 1,835 friends, I had one, Mr. Bolton, which I highly respect now, who said, yes, I'll be there. Two were simply likes. Nobody else. We are so damn worried that somebody at work, somebody at church, somebody in the VFW, somebody in the league, somebody I play cards with, somebody I play bridge with, somebody I play tennis with is going to say, ooh, look, Jim's protesting. You know, where's that today? Jim's carrying the sign. He's protesting. He's having some barbecue, and they're doing some speechifying, and he's telling them how that you know the bad guys suck. He's going to talk about some elected officials too, about how they've been screwing us on Social Security. And I don't understand. I just don't want to be associated with Jim because Jim's really out there. He's oh yeah, and you know Carolina or Clemson might be playing that day, might be, or we promised that Grandma who with that toe, we'll go see her. We'll tell Jim, well, we got something really important that we want to do. I have been meaning to clean out that garage and that attic is hell. Yes. Put all that shit on hold. I'm not talking about you having a dirty attic. I'm talking about you having a bad life here in the United States of America. Because, friends, the party's in D.C. and we ain't invited. I know damn good well you're not invited. I know I'm not going to be invited. I'm never invited a second time. Because I speak my mind the first time, and they don't like that. When I was asked to come before the science academies, and these were cats that were just talking way over my head for hours and hours and hours. And they said, Captain Voss, have you ever had any experience with DU rounds, depleted uranium rounds? I said, yes, I did. Yeah. Well, how many would you say that your people handled? I said, well, I can tell you exactly. They handled 186,000 spent rounds. Hush. Hush. All over the room. And they said, you mean you collected those? Yeah, we did. And cleaned them and put them back in their crates so they could come back to the United States to be resurfaced. I said, but the problem that we have, and the reason that I have so many of my troops with cancers now, is you did not tell us that we had to have special clothing to stop the uranium from getting into our bodies until 4 days after the war. I was not invited back. So I go to generals meeting, you see, I had a great group of men and women. We established 5 theater storage areas and supplied the 7th Corps with all the munitions they needed for the push, for the basic load, because their own people couldn't do it. So my people did it for them. Yeah, they complained. We were in the middle of the desert with no creature comforts, and yes, they did complain, and I don't blame them because we got screwed. Parts war never caught up with us, and the silt sand broke everything, every motor, every forklift, everything, every truck, every Cook V, everything that we had wouldn't run. And here we were stealing pantyhose, put over the breathers to cut out the silt sand. But my people moved more ammo than any other unit in the United States of America. And for that, the unit was given a presidential citation. They did well. They did very well. I was a worthless ass captain. They made me look good. Are we just going to give it away? I never get a comment on one of my podcasts, not even one. I mean, not other than a couple of words. Are we going to just give America away? If we're going to do it, let's just do it. Let's give it away. Hold up the flags. Put them in the foot chest. Put them in a locker. Put them underneath the seat of the boat. Let's take all of our weapons down to the police station and just turn them in. All the ammo. Are we just going to give America away? All I wanted you to do was just show up for one afternoon out of your busy ass life so that we could say, we here in South Carolina matter. And we're tired of this bullshit and we're not going to take it anymore. And I found out who has the guts and who will hide on the sidelines and never make a statement, never stand up, never say no. I'm not going to do that bullshit. I never talk bad about Christians, but listen to me. God gave us these freedoms and liberties. We're not protecting them. What does God say about a talent? He gives you a talent. You don't use that talent, he'll take it away from you. He's given you these liberties and freedoms, and we're not protecting them. He's going to take them back. Can you imagine our children with no cell phones, with no ability to choose their future, with no ability to choose their job, their career, what they're going to do, where they're going to live, what they can own, how many cars, what kind of car, how much gas mileage does it get, how much food you can have, how much fuel you can have. That's what you're getting ready to bequeath to our grandchildren. For in socialism, you will not make those decisions. Do not think for a second that both sides of the aisle are not pushing for this. Oh, they talk about the woke generation. Oh my God, we got to stop that woke generation. But they don't ever say how. We can't live with BLM killing the cops while they're sitting in their patrol cars, but they don't ever say how. Let's have more gun control. That way, the bad guys won't shoot the cops. Uh-huh. Yeah, that we're good. Kind of like prohibition. How'd that crap work out for you? It's gonna come a time when that amendment doesn't mean anything. The second one, there's gonna come a time, and that's happening right now. There's gonna oh God, is this happening right now? There's gonna come a time when that First Amendment don't mean squat. As you see through Facebook and YouTube, the censorship that goes on, the censorship on television, the censorship on radio, free speech is just about dead and gone. And what have we done? We tried to be politically correct. We tried to be all inclusive. That's why we're not going to keep score at the games anymore. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And if Uncle Harry, big old hairy Uncle Harry, wants to follow that little 9-year old into that bathroom, then he can do it because we don't want to make Uncle Harry mad, you see. And yeah, I know Johnny's a little bit big for his age, 6'4", big old strapping, good-looking boy, but he wants to go swim with the teenage girls. Let's be all inclusive. Do we forget our history that quickly? Do we? Okay, tell me. What's the first thing Hitler did when he was ready to take over? What's the first thing he did? How did he get Bavaria? How did he get other parts of the countryside? How did he get them? He got them in a beer garden. Never pulled his gun. Never had a soldier shoot another soldier over a beer. He said, "The people are behind me, and either you will give me your land, or I'll take it." And they gave up their nation over a cold brew. What's the next thing he did? Confiscated all the weapons. The only people to be armed are the people of the Third Reich. The police, the SS, the Gestapo, the military, and the people who were his henchmen. What was the third thing he did? Shut down all the churches. Shut down the churches. Don't laugh, Christians. It's coming our way. He said, "I am the Savior of Germany. If you want someone to worship, you worship me. I am the God of Germany, past, now, and future." And then his own CRT, his own critical race theory was taught in the schools where the child who did not follow the teachings of the Third Reich was identified, singled out, and ostracized from companionship and teaching. CRT says to identify the child who does not conform to the ways of the woke generation, and they should be ostracized by friendship and lack of teaching until they can get their mind right. What we have here is a failure to communicate. And then freedom of speech. The Jews, uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I wasn't going to let you get away with it. The Jews were all rounded up and put into what they call the quarters. They had to wear the Jewish star of David, and they were put into old barracks in the middle of town and cordoned off to the point that they started bringing in the food and the water and would turn the power on and off at will. What is the suggestion right now? Hamas and Palestine, they let 1,200 missiles sail through the air and kill the innocent women and children and men of Jerusalem. And now they're playing that they are the victim. They only did it because they were mad at the Jewish people for treating them poorly. And now, today I heard a Jewish student who said, I have been going to this college for 3 years and I don't know half of these students here that are protesting. Why? Because they're busing in students now to protest. Part of that woke generation that I talk about so lovingly that you just don't believe it's going on, but trust me, it has been. The coup is almost over. Hell's bells, you haven't even awakened for 1 minute of it because you're still sitting on the side of the parade. You're waiting for Santa Claus to come along and tell you that it's going to be okay. Well, you know what? There is no Santa Claus. There's no Easter Bunny. There's no Tooth Fairy. What are you going to tell your grandchild? That's what I want to know. You hawks, I'm talking to the hawks. I'm talking to the vets. I'm talking about the people who really give a rat's furry ass. What are you going to tell your kids? Huh? What are you going to tell your grandkids when you bounce them on your knee and they say, gee, Daddy, Grandpa, what'd you do while the United States fell? As Patton said, well, I didn't shovel shit in Louisiana. I want to hear your excuse because there is none. This America is the greatest place in the world, and we have been pampered to death. But there are other nations, including our own, who have different plans for the future. These old rhinos, you think you're going to get rid of them? Hell no. They're going to be right there when socialism is ushered in. And they'll be in office till they die. Because the minute socialism creeps in and they solidify everything and they grease the rails, then we will slip into communism. Read an article about a lady in a socialist society, and she was on a waiting list for 7 months to get a cell phone. Everything you get has to be approved by Uncle Sam. I know there are a lot of renegades. I know there are a lot of hawks like me. I don't want to be part of the underground. I don't want to be part of the resistance down the road. That means we got to act now, or we will be those people doing that stuff to the railroads. It's subverted, putting people under the ground to try and get our America back. I don't want to have to get my America back. My America's mine right now, but we're lazy, we're spoiled, we're trusting the wrong people. We are allowing our nation to be taken away from us while we sit on our ass and wait for Santa Claus at the end of the parade. Okay, I'm done bitching. That's all. I don't know what to say. If I was a Baptist preacher, I'd just play one more stanza just as I am, and hopefully God would reach your soul and you'd come to the altar. Maybe one day I'll show you my beautiful voice and I'll sing Amazing Grace. Because we're going to have a whole bunch of it. Amazing Grace. Yeah, we will. All right, I'm out of here. As Seacrest says, peace out. As the, what was it? I don't know. Said, let's get the flock out of here. Oh, it was a seagull. That's right. Heathcliff used to be on Red Skelton. Just remember, nobody's going to come and do it for us. If we're not willing to take America back, then be prepared for what is going to be a nasty, nasty life. I love you. I love my vets, especially my vets. Talked to a 5-time veteran of Vietnam today who is mired down in psychiatric care 5 times as a ranger. Can you imagine? 5 times. 5 years. It's just like, Joe here. He's finally quit drinking, but we got to build him a body. And of course, Bob's back there. Bob says, don't blame me. I voted for Trump. And they're doing good. I'm doing good. His knees about well. Um, I would say don't let me down, but that's something your dad would have said to you, and I'm sure I don't come up to his qualifications. Please leave me a line, leave me a suggestion. Maybe you'll have the silver bullet suggestion. Leave me a suggestion. Still going to digital radio in a couple of weeks. About it, got everything set up. Won't be no holding back then, sports fans. They're not gonna like me because I got more stuff up my sleeve than yeah, Mr. Blackstone did. It was good position a long time ago. Okay, let's see. We're out of here. We never did get to go bowling. We still have to have a warm shower together, hold hands, skip down the lane, and have that beer together. We're in deep doo doo, folks. Very deep. We have got to band together to get our America back. Regardless of what they do to Trump, it's going to be bad around election time. Make sure you got plenty of food, plenty of fuel, plenty of water, plenty of everything. Be ready to hunker down for a while. Hey, I'm just taking precautions. All right, we're out of here. I love you. Later.